Hey, so today's section, I have tried recording this 2 times already, and this is number 3, and this section is very dense. I'm doing it a 3rd time because I have not been pleased with the previous 2 recordings, and I might just read a lot of this. Some of these ideas are very new to me, and they require paradigm shifts, and I think, honestly, the best thing might just be to read it straight and then to discuss. And so I'm going to do that. So section 4 in chapter 2 is titled Healing as Release from Fear. Our emphasis is now on healing. The miracle is the means, the atonement is the principle, and healing is the result. To speak of a miracle of healing is to combine 2 orders of reality inappropriately. Healing is not a miracle. The atonement, or the final miracle, is a remedy, and any type of healing is a result. The kind of error to which atonement is applied is irrelevant. All healing is essentially the release from fear. To undertake this, you cannot be fearful yourself. You do not understand healing because of your own fear. So it sounds like the atonement is the only remedy, the best remedy, and we don't understand healing because we are afraid. Why are we afraid? Let's go on. Section 2. A major step in the atonement plan is to undo error at all levels. Sickness or not right-mindedness is the result of level confusion, because it always entails the belief that what is amiss on one level can adversely affect another. We have referred to miracles as the means of correcting level confusion, for all mistakes must be corrected at the level on which they occur. Only the mind is capable of error. The body can act wrongly only when it is responding to misthought. The body cannot create, and the belief that it can, a fundamental error, produces all physical symptoms. Physical illness represents a belief in magic. The whole distortion that made magic rests on the belief that there is a creative ability in matter which the mind cannot control. This error can take 2 forms. It can be believed that the mind can miscreate in the body, or that the body can miscreate in the mind. When it is understood that the mind, the only level of creation, cannot create beyond itself, neither type of confusion need occur. This is a paradigm shift, this section for me. Not a huge paradigm shift, but in my practice and my work, I have this idea of what the levels looks like. And so hearing it described this way kind of caused me a little bit of a different view of a similar object. It's like seeing this way versus this way. This way it's a circle. This way it looks like a rectangle. And so it's just a little different view for me, seeing, and I imagine as I read this that there's a spiritual level up here, and that there's a mind level here, and a physical body level here. And understanding that the body cannot create is a new paradigm for me, because I tend to believe that the body can create. I can create art, I can create music, I can create things, but the body actually is the vessel that does the creation. Where does the creation come at? This is saying that it comes from the mind, which makes sense, but it's just a slightly different paradigm shift for me. Okay, section 3. Only the mind can create, because spirit has already been created, and the body is a learning device for the mind. Learning devices are not lessons in themselves. Their purpose is merely to facilitate learning. That makes sense. The worst a faulty use of learning device can do is to fail to facilitate learning. It has no power in itself to introduce actual learning errors. The body, if properly understood, shares the invulnerability of the atonement to 2-edged application. This is not because the body is a miracle, but because it is not inherently open to misinterpretation. The body is merely part of your experience in the physical world. Its abilities can be, and frequently are, over-evaluated. However, it is almost impossible to deny its existence in this world. Those who do so are engaging in a particularly unworthy form of denial. The term unworthy here implies only that it is not necessary to protect the mind by denying the unmindful. If one denies this unfortunate aspect of the mind's power, one is also denying the power itself. And so that's basically a section just pointing out how the body is the vessel for the mind, and that the body is how the mind learns through experience in the physical realm. Section 4. All material means that you accept as remedies for bodily ills are restatements of magic principles. That's a big deal. Let me read that again. All material means that you accept as remedies for bodily ills are restatements of magic principles. This is the first step in believing that the body makes its own illness. It is a second misstep to attempt to heal it through non-creative agents. Non-creative agents, what might those be? Those might be anything we use to heal the body. Food, drugs, essential oils, herbs, flower essences, red light therapy, massage therapy. Wow. Okay, it does not follow, however, that the use of such agents for corrective purposes is evil. Sometimes the illness has a sufficiently strong hold over the mind to render a person temporarily inaccessible to the atonement. In this case, it may be wise to utilize a compromise approach to mind and body, in which something from the outside is temporarily given healing belief. This is because the last thing that can help the non-right-minded or the sick is an increase in fear. They are already in a fear-weakened state. If they are prematurely exposed to a miracle, they may be precipitated into panic. This is likely to occur when upside-down perception has induced the belief that miracles are frightening. And isn't that the world we live in, where miracles are kind of seen as frightening? We actually have people who call miracles magic, and it's an inverse. It's upside-down thinking that natural healing of the what we experience through a miracle or in the body, it's just kind of twisted in our modern day reality, and we have a lot of belief in magic, don't we? Section 5, the value of the atonement does not lie in the manner in which it is expressed. In fact, if it is used truly, it will inevitably be expressed in whatever way is most helpful to the receiver. This means that a miracle, to attain its full efficacy, must be expressed in a language that the recipient can understand without fear. This does not necessarily mean that this is the highest level of communication of which he is capable. It does mean, however, that it is the highest level of communication of which he is capable now. The whole aim of the miracle is to raise the level of communication, not to lower it by increasing fear. And so, in summary, what we want to make sure we do is remove the fear. Whether fear in what's possible, fear in the situation, we want to remove the fear and allow the atonement to do what it does, which is heal. And the atonement, in essence, is bringing us up from a place of disbelief and disharmony with God to a place of harmony and belief and communion with God by removing the disbelief, the erroneous belief, the false belief, the lies, the untruisms. And it makes sense why back at the beginning of the text, let me see if I can grab it, why there was a really important line at the very, very beginning. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So anyway, this is a cool section, a lot of paradigm shift, or maybe not paradigm shift, but just a different way of looking at something. And I'm excited to kind of process this and let it simmer down into my understanding and recalibrate. I think that's what it's going to do, is it's going to recalibrate my understanding of healing. And I do rely a lot on natural remedies, and I also, though, think that healing with God is a preferred method. And so the only discrepancy there is kind of disbelief. or lack of understanding on how to fully do that, or how to fully receive God's healing, and if I'm honest, to be able to receive it more quickly and more readily and faster. So I'm excited to see what this change in my thinking does for my own healing of things that feel out of alignment, and in assisting others. I'd love to know your thoughts and your comments, your experience with this, your thoughts on healing and belief, and if you agree, disagree, that's okay. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and leave me a comment, and I will be back tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Have a blessed day.